All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Texas Cornhole Show. It's been a minute, Grant. We've not been producing content like we should.
Well, you can't say we're not just producing content. We haven't been doing our recorded episodes,
No, we have not been. But we got a lot to talk about now, so it's a little bit rushed because I got to get out of here. I got to go pick up my kids. But we're going to get some content going. We've got 40 minutes. I can stay here for 40 minutes and we can talk about all of the amazing things that have happened in cornhole over the last few weeks.
All right.
Starting with the ACL National, first National, right? Is that what it's called, a National?
It's the National, National number 1. We went back and tried to look at some results.
Yeah, I pulled up the page, news, iPlayCornhole.com to get the ACL results. It's freaking blank. Like, look, can that, the table's blank.
I don't think they can see it.
It's probably blank, but it's blank. Like, I know Jeremiah Ellis made it out of his bracket because I'm a huge Jeremiah Ellis fan, so I know that. But I don't know who the other three guys are.
And I don't know either because I'm not paying attention, to be honest.
So this is the results page of the ACL website, the results for the National, and they don't tell me who the 4 people are. And so let's take a step back. They ran a tournament, and the finals are going to be in 2 weeks or 4 weeks or something.
Yeah, and that came like a shock. That was a shock to me, at least, or a surprise knowledge to hear that they weren't recording the championships then. It's almost a qualify. The national event is actually a qualifier to get to ESPN in a couple weeks.
Weird. Okay, weird. And then I want to know who those guys are. Like, who are the guys who are going to be competing in that ESPN show? Right?
I mean, all I can think is maybe it's on the Facebook page, but still, for someone that, let's say I just don't have Facebook, what do?
I go to the ACL website and I go to the news and the title says kickoff battle results, West Palm Beach, Florida. And I open it up and I expect to see who's going to make it. And no, I don't know.
Did you try checking Scoreholio?
I mean, I hate just to kick the show off with us just like complaining, but bro, Trey Ryder, bro, be better.
I don't think he even pays. Ooh,
there's a face right there.
Trey.
No, Michael Gonzalez needs to be better.
Okay.
Like, at least I understand you can't put him in the table, but you can put who the 4 players are that are going to be battling it out. And maybe I'm missing it. It even says below are the full 2024 ACL kickoff battle results. No, it's not the full results. Anyway, Ryan Schrader got second in his bracket, got $1,800. Friend of the show. My cousin Trzynski, second in his bracket too. Sammy Soto, third, friend of the show. He's been on the show. Maybe, you know what? Gavin Cannell, I bet you was one of them that made it, one of the 4. I think, no, wait, I did see something on social media. So, yeah, he made it.
Okay.
So, Jeremiah Ellis, Gavin Cannell, and then 2 other guys who I just don't even know. Maybe Matt Guy? Who knows? Probably not.
Just to talk about my center kid, Sammy did have a pretty good showing for his first national ever. Sammy 5th in shootout singles, 4th in shootout doubles, 3rd in national singles, and 2nd in national doubles.
It's pretty good shot.
Pretty good. I think he got double dipped in national doubles. So that was a tough pill to swallow, but hey, it's going to make him a little bit more hungry for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, there he is. Jackson Gore, Sammy Soto, right up there with Steven Bernasette and Philip Lopez. They also got second. Yeah, so sorry, everybody. If you're looking for an update from ACL from us, we're failing you, and I'm just blaming ACL because this is ridiculous. I'm pretty disappointed in this. I was expecting to be able to pull up their website that says the results and have the results, but no. All right. Enough ACL. Are we still talking about ACL? I mean, Jeremiah Ellis in the Matt Guy game, I don't know. We haven't talked about that on the show.
No.
That's probably one of the better games of cornhole that has occurred. It was not broadcasted on ESPN. It was just on digital content like
it was
YouTube.
It was just a huge 15-2, right? Something like that.
I think the biggest deficit was 18-2.
And Jeremiah just stopped missing.
Well, I think it was really interesting to talk to you about because you like to play the block game. And at the beginning of the game, that's what Ellis was trying to do. He was trying to leave a blocker, and it just wasn't working because Matt Guy was hitting every airmail, and Ellis's blockers weren't perfect. So he called a timeout. I want to say it was 14-0 or something like that. And Ellis calls a timeout, literally just walks to the other side, drinks some beer, walks all the way back, and then just starts going hole for hole. Total change of strategy. And he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go hole for hole with this guy. And he did. And I forget the statistics. It was something insane about how many bags he made and over how many rounds. But he went hole for hole with Guy and ended up winning. It was a really exciting game, really fun game to watch. I thought mental fortitude, just to be able to hang in there when you're down by so much, and then just to make a huge strategy change in the middle of a game were two pretty big takeaways for me.
Yeah, I mean, you got that probably that timeout let him actually think about it and really like I guess accept, hey, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's a switch up from trying to play the block game to play the more hole for hole game. I mean, that's huge. Was he missing his pushes for his own block, or is he just missing the block? I guess that's my question.
I think the one round was pretty big. I'm remembering a missed push, but I don't know if that's correct. But my big takeaway was Guy was just hitting his airmails. Right? Okay. When you're throwing a blocker, and Guy will throw an airmail with like a level 1 or 2 blocker and hit it, you know?
Right.
So the block game just wasn't working. Was not working.
The greatest game I still have ever seen was Noah Wooten, Jamie Graham. I saw it live in person too. It was on ESPN. So that game, I think Noah was up 19-1 or 19-2. Jamie battled all the way back to beat him on ESPN. That was the craziest game I've ever seen. Nasty collects. Just a great game.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe Jamie Graham or Ryan Windsor or Noah Wooten are one of the people that's going to be on ESPN. I wouldn't know. I guess it's my fault for not like paying closer attention and thinking I could figure it out today. It's gonna be hard for me to get over this. I'm sorry. I don't mean to dwell. All right. So,
well, the reason that we weren't paying more attention is because we were at an ACO major.
That's right. We traveled to Shreveport, Louisiana, and you competed in a ACO major with a bunch of bros. We all rented a big house. We did some fishing. I think we did more hanging out and fishing than we did cornholing.
I wouldn't say that, but there was a good chunk of it, right?
Yeah.
The house location ended up being pretty nice with, what would you call that connection to the lake?
Is it a causeway?
I don't know. But the guys that were fishing had way more experience than me and you.
Yeah.
You know, you had K-Money, you had Kevin, you had Levi, you had Ty. All of them are just rigging it up and going ahead and fishing. They caught a couple catfish and did some things too. But yeah, so y'all got out there on Thursday night, right, to go to a big switcholio?
Yeah, the plan was to get there Thursday because there was a welcome event, and it was, I think, $1,000 guaranteed blind draw. And I didn't go, but Ty, Chase, Kevin, and Levi all went. None of them placed in the money. But that seemed like it was a pretty good time. They all came back in fantastic spirits. And then, the next day, Levi played doubles, or played junior singles, made it all the way to second place. Played a kid named Mason Higgins, who's legit. That he actually went on to not only win juniors, he went on to win the entire tournament.
Right, the whole singles. Yeah, the kid was his stance was kind of strange to me. It was like a squatting position with one leg, and I thought that he would get worn out, but he had some stamina, and he was throwing super high PPRs. Levi almost got him.
Almost had him. Yeah, I think 2021 in one game, and I forgot the last game was not as competitive, but both those kids were throwing some pretty high PPRs with slow bags. That's the other thing. They're throwing high PPRs with a block and flop cut. Yeah, they can do it all.
It was pretty cool. They ended up discovering each other, and they decided to partner up for Juniors Worlds at ACO.
That's the rumor.
That's the rumor.
I've heard a rumor about that, and that's going to be the betting favorite if that actually happens.
It has to be.
Yeah, that's going to be an incredible team.
I just wonder if his picture will get posted.
Probably not. Maybe Higgins. But so that was really fun. So on the way ACO tournaments work is on Thursday, there's like your co-ed, your women's, your juniors, your seniors, and then there is the Bagmaster Quads. So Crew Cup, sponsored by a bag company, and Big D Bags won again. So we're 2 for 2, and we're also tied for third place in the overall standings for Bagmaster Quads.
And you know what's crazy about the quads too is that we never really felt like we were in a rhythm.
Quads is hard. Like, I don't like it. I can't, because I like to get in a rhythm. And one thing in ACO, you can throw in any order. So I noticed you and Levi are changing a lot.
Oh yeah, I mean, but we were having fun doing it too. But it helped our rhythm for sure. Being able to consistently change.
With you guys, does one guy always have the first bag, or is that changing too?
That's changing too. It's almost like a strategy change. But it bothers us less than it bothers the other team. Because if Levi throws first, it's going in the hole. If I throw first, I'm blocking.
Yeah.
And that like sets the tone for the rest of the round. And then Levi's got an awesome push shot to follow me up. I'll probably end up shooting an air mail. Levi is more opt for certain roles. If it's a right to left collect, I'm probably shooting that one. So yeah, we have our different kind of strategies.
Yeah, so that was your team. Grant's team won it. Kevin's team, that was me, Kevin, and the kids, Reef and K Money, and we did not do very well, but that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually did okay. I was happy with my performance.
Yeah, there were high compliments on you, low compliments on some others.
No comments with the rest of them. But Kevin threw great.
Our quad run though, it had its fair share of battles.
Yeah.
You know, and two of those battles actually came within basically the same moment. You know, you had Philip Barnett, which I guess is a pretty big deal in ACO. He acted like a fool. And put his foot on a board and made sure to shove it and you know, our first frame of the game.
In the middle of a live game.
That he's not involved in. Because I guess he's just, I don't know, he's pretty soft, I guess, is what you can just describe him. He's soft and he's talking shit to an 18-year-old. And I guess that's who he wants to choose to pick
I think he's still 17.
I mean, he can be 17. It don't matter.
Yeah.
The point is, you know, you're going to pick on that kid.
Yeah, so that was weird. You know, for people who weren't there, like, I guess Ty has been talked about, right? About being he's a good player. Right. And he was picked by one of the guys on one of the ACO podcasts, right? So I guess Barnett heard about him that way, and he goes over in the middle of a game, which Barnett apologized later on. He didn't know it was a live match. But even if it wasn't a live match,
it wasn't still a live match. You went and put your foot on a board and shoved it and moved it substantially, not a little bit. You moved the whole thing and walked off for someone else to fix.
Yeah.
So you can run your mouth to a 17-year-old kid, 18-year-old kid.
Okay.
You're a big man.
It was a bad look for time to fill for Philip Barnett. It was a bad look, but there does seem to be a little bit of a I don't want to call it a rivalry. I don't. That's a bad word. It's not a rivalry, but it does seem to be like these new guys are coming, these TCL, because people keep calling us the TCL guys. Even on the CBC podcast that they were doing, they were everything we do is TCL in their mind. Even like these switches that we have here that aren't even TCL, they're like, oh yeah, I watched Reef play in a TCL tournament. Wasn't even a TCL tournament, but everybody thinks that we're all just these TCL guys coming over to.
Which
ACL.
I mean, I would say is probably a fair description of us.
Fair description of it. So I guess maybe the old guard doesn't like that very much. Maybe that's what we're experiencing.
I mean, hey, the old guard, he might be a big reason why ACO isn't taking some steps up.
Or popular in Texas, right? I mean, I think it'd be great to have more leagues in Texas. Like, I think what ACO offers is something different. It's interesting, and you can play in both. Like, we've been in this bit of a dry spell with the Signature Series over the last 6 weeks or however long it's been, and a lot of people like to play cornhole every single weekend. So it's nice to do these things. Also, ACO is different, man. There's different players. There's a different vibe, different style of play, different boards. Right?
Yeah, the boards are trash.
For better, for worse.
Trash. We are blessed to have TX Factor boards. Let me say that.
Yeah. So the ACO boards are a little bouncier. If you land a bag, especially on the fast side, right in the middle, that bag's going to bounce over the hole.
Yeah. There's multiple moments of a bag just kind of bouncing up and not getting through certain things.
Right.
BG, I mean, then you have that moment where BG hits like a skip shot and goes over a bag and gets in the hole. So, I mean.
We'll play the bounce. That's what I was doing in my cash games. I was playing the bounce, and I love it because you don't have to work so hard to get your roll bag going.
But in that same game with Philip, you know, we're trying to shake that off and get into our game or whatever. I might have had a few words to say. But then we're playing a guy on my side. His last name's River.
Oh, right. Yeah.
This guy's obviously, you know, had a little bit to drink. He's having a good time, though.
He was wasted.
We're playing a game, too, that's fun. He had some things to say in our game. Of course, I'm going to respond. Chase responds a little bit. He kept on targeting Ty. And I guess these guys kind of figured it out that stuff does not work against us. We're from TCL, bro. We're from Texas, bro. That encourages us. That does not bother us. We're going to throw better if you're chirping, not worse.
Right. And why were people picking on Ty? Like, he's the nicest.
Because he's got the cowboy hat on? I don't know.
Like, Chase kind of deserves it. The way he acts, honestly, he throws his fits and he cusses and stuff. If you're gonna pick on somebody, pick on Chase. Like, why Ty? I did not understand that.
And he's picking on Ty, and it's just crazy to me, man. It is absolutely crazy. But that was kind of we decided not to play in the blind draw.
Well, that's right. We left after the Bagmaster quads, went back to the house, set up a campfire, and fished all night.
Yeah, I was watching the women's Iowa game.
Yeah.
That wasn't the championship. That was
semis.
Semis, yeah. So I got to watch that game. We were all just hanging out. They caught a few fish, had a few funny moments, good laughs, and then went to bed at a reasonable time, I feel like, and then came Saturday. Started with doubles Saturday morning.
So this was a unique thing for ACO. Usually ACO does doubles rounders, singles rounders, doubles bracket, singles bracket, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
And for those that are Texas players, it's not rounders. It's you get placed into a bracket based off of points, and it's basically you have to win either 2 games in the winner side to qualify for the main bracket, or if you lose, you have to win like 4 or 5 games in the loser bracket to make the main bracket.
Yeah, you got to make it far enough in the bracket to advance to the main bracket.
Right.
Is the way I think of it. So if you get down, it's double elimination. So you can lose a game, get down to the loser's bracket, and you got to make it far enough to make it to the main bracket. So I guess it's filtering out the top 32 or the top 64.
Right. Well, that's the idea behind it, right?
Yeah. So it's tough. ACO tournaments are tough because you don't have 6 rounders or 5 rounders to get warm or feel your game out. You can go 0-2 pretty quick. So yeah, it opens up with doubles and topic of conversation. You guys, instead of having a set of bags that you were used to, that you both liked, you guys decide to throw a brand new set, not only a brand new set of bags that I had made on like Wednesday, but a brand new type of bag, like carpet that you've never thrown before, fast side that you've never thrown before. This is a new fabric combination, a new type of bag. And you guys are like, yeah, I like this bag. I'm going to compete in an ACO tournament with it. How'd that go?
Oh, no, we, rounders was pretty easy, or rounders was pretty easy. Then we went 0-2 in the bracket, and it was rough. There were certain shots I felt like I nailed that, you can say bags, you can say boards, but something kept these bags from going in the hole that I know, that Chase would know, was the shot. Like, we can't throw it any better.
The shot with a different bag.
No.
You took, yes.
Again, the boards, and again, it's hard for me to accept your kind of position on this when me and Chase just won a major with brand new Texans.
Texans are like greeds. You know that material.
They're not.
Okay, the materials are the same, Grant. Okay,
but
so they are like
the same.
They're not the same, but they're the same material. So you're familiar with how that material is gonna perform on both sides of the bag. You know what that carpet's gonna do. The carpet on the Pegasus, totally different. It's gonna do.
It felt the best
in your hand, but you haven't seen what it does on the board yet. So my point is, and you've said this, okay, the reason this is so funny is this morning, somebody posted on Addicted to Cornhole that they are watching this show, listening to you talk, and you said something to the effect of, you've got to throw your own bags. You have to throw bags to like figure out the bag, to learn the bag, to know the bag. You and the bag, you got to throw your bag, right? And then you go to an ACO championship or major, and you fucking throw new bags, bro.
It's because there's no good options.
There were other options. There were options that you were familiar with that you had.
There was no good options. I tried everything. And I went with the bag that felt the best in my hands. And in doubles. And as soon as doubles is over, I didn't pick up that bag again. I was over it. And I switched over to Texans, which I think when I finally got the set of Texans, I liked it through a little bit better. But at that point, it was kind of I was at where I was at. And the thing is us as primarily TCL players are in a bad position because unless we're going to these extra switches or unless we're going to these or unless we're doing our own practice sessions, that's going to take a really long time to break in these bags that we're only throwing, once a month. Or
you only throw these bags in these majors. Like we've gone to 2 majors now and 1 regional. It's the only time I see you throwing these bags.
There's no other time for me to throw them.
So I think you're definitely putting yourself at a disadvantage going into these ACO majors, but that's what it is.
We're at a disadvantage.
Okay, fair enough. Now you could throw these bags more, but I get it. you're strapped for time, I guess. All right, so we are on singles. Oh yeah, so Chase placed 4th place in singles, and again he was throwing the surefire slow side. The boards got sticky, and those bags just started hanging up everywhere. It was ugly.
Yeah,
I had a front row seat to it. It was gross. That surefire control side will do that to you, and that's exactly what it did to him. And he threw like the perfect bag, and it just all the bags hung up, and he put it right where it needed to be. But boards get sticky, and that control side is dangerous because when it gets slow, it is slow. Also, Kevin Meza did really good. He was throwing dudes. I think he got 5th place in singles.
Yeah.
And then Brandon Greger played really well.
Yes.
He was the 3rd best finish out of our team in singles. I forget what his place was exactly, but I know that he did really well. It was awesome watching BG
I think
out there.
you're going to see Kevin and Ty probably make a huge run.
Yeah,
here pretty soon.
Yeah, they're going to be here in Dallas, and I think they're going to be potentially maybe in Branson, but I don't know for certain. All right, and then so for Saturday night, we played poker. Me and Ty split the pot. We won it. Cheers to Ty.
Freak out!
It was funny.
Ty got there. I don't know.
Because I made a dumb bet against him, and he called me on it. He called my bluff. That's how it has.
And you were filling Levi's heads with these. If I bet, I got something, and he believed you totally.
It's usually true. I got something.
Yeah, usually
it might be like
there's
low
gonna be times where you're just intimidating the hell out of him.
No, I got something. I'm never gonna bet if I don't have anything, but I might not have anything good.
Right.
I might not have something good. Yeah, poker was a lot of fun. All right, that gives a little synopsis of our weekend in an ACO major. I had a great time.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It's fun. So that's the second one that we've done where we, rented a house, brought a bunch of players, went to a tournament. And it was a lot of fun. And it must be nice for you because you could kind of like focus on cornhole and not have to like run a booth and run a business at the same time. You can just kind of be a player and hang out a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
Yeah, me too. So next up, you want to talk about some TCL stuff?
Yep. I'll start off with we have our Texas High School event here at AJ Sports, April 27th. We changed the format a little bit. You're now going to be allowed to form teams outside of just your school, but it's limited to 1 A or elite player per team. The rest can be filled out however you want them to. But if you form a team within your school, you're allowed to have 2 A's or 2 elites on your team. So we're incentivizing, forming a team from your own school or potentially working towards that. But it became very clear, we need to get these guys involved and used to showing up and doing things and just get the youth involved in cornhole more before we, have all these restrictions on the events when we don't have the player base to support that yet. So that's going to be pretty cool. That's coming up. Reef and K Money are hopefully making some teams. I saw one other team signed up. But we get some youth going on. And then we had the top 100 information kind of coming out for TCL. The jerseys came out. They're kind of different jerseys for where you place and where you finish. Those look pretty sweet. Then the top 100 draft, which is kind of based off of the top 60 draft we used to do back at the party or whatever. And so essentially, if we have all 100 people play, we're going to have the top 20 players draft 4 players or draft 3. No, 4, 5, whatever it is. And they're going to draft their teams. They're going to be doing a multi-match, which is essentially you're going to have, when you play another team, there's going to be like 2 doubles games and a singles game, and whoever wins the most of those games moves on to the next page in the bracket. So looking forward to that event. That's going to be a pretty cool event. TCL is matching the money that's entered in the entry fees, so it's $80 a team. If there's 20 teams, then TCL is going to match, 80 times 20, whatever, $320 or whatever the number is. So it's going to be a pretty good payout. It's going to be at the league championship. It's going to be pretty cool. And that's what we're kind of playing for, is to get into that event and doing some things.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. I have so many questions about this.
Okay.
Number one, is there a place where people can go read about it?
Yes.
Where is that?
On Facebook right now. It's not all the way on. You can, and I think it's in the description for the event that's attached to the league championship on Facebook.
Okay,
or
cool.
on the website.
So, point standings. When does that close?
May 19th is, I think, the unofficial date right now. It's going to be either a week later or maybe a few days sooner.
So it's after SIG and Waco,
Yes.
and then maybe like there'll be one more regional?
Yeah, there'll be a couple more weeks to get a couple regionals in.
All right. And then when point standings close, then the people that made top 100 get invited to a tournament.
Right. They'll be reached out to via email. Even before the points close, they're going to be reached out to go ahead and get like jersey size rolling, and we'll just get the numbers at the very end from like where they actually finished.
Because you'll know like top 50, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
There'll be some mixing around in the last.
So we might even send an email to the top 120 and be like, "Hey, this is just to get it going, so we can go ahead and get all these things rolling." And so
okay.
And then we're going to release a sign-up sheet for like, hey, y'all are going to come to the league championship Thursday. Y'all want to be included in the draft. Y'all want to do these things. And then we'll reach out to the top 20 players that are participating, or however many players are participating, and start doing a draft. I don't think we're going to broadcast the draft. I think we're all just going to reach out to them like, hey, you got the next pick. This is a list of players you have available. Who's your pick? And we'll just build the team that way.
Okay.
And then probably next season look to actually have some sort of broadcast.
So it'll be kind of like a Ryder Cup, but not the teams aren't going to be as big.
Teams won't be as big.
Okay, that sounds pretty fun.
It'll be good. It'll be a good time.
And a big cash payout for the winning team.
Yes.
Right on.
They'll be getting 50% or 50% of the pot.
Okay, so it sounds like top 100 is kind of replacing top 60.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
Fair to say. It won't be, a party anymore. It'll actually be a tournament.
Okay.
And the goal is to eventually this be its own separate individual tournament, and we might make it a bit of a longer day. But, it's hard to find venues that supports only 100 people, and then getting the location down too. And then we're asking people to take another weekend off, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So we're trying to figure out the best course of action, but that's the plan right now.
Okay, cool. Anything else on the top 100?
And then we're getting hit with a lot of, hey, I see that we're doing the top 100.
Yeah.
Can we do something to recognize the highest point leaders in each tier ranking?
Oh.
And I know you have some feelings about it. I have feelings about it. At what point are players essentially asking for a participation trophy?
Well, they already are. I mean, at what point? That point is now. But I blame TCL. It's all your fault because you created this class system, a ranking system, to allow for fully grown, able-bodied men to throw a 6.5 PPR and get paid for it. And you've created a monster. You reap what you sow. So now participation trophies are just the natural progression.
So at what point is it because these guys are newer players and just think that, oh, this is how it is, we should get more because I'm a new player? They don't remember the times when everyone was playing softball and they weren't getting paid at all. They got a t-shirt at the end.
Right. Like it's when you introduce money and prizes and you have a classification system and you're rewarding people for failing. TCL's rewarding people for failing. Like, here's what happened.
But is the tier ranking system almost not the reward? Like, hey, we're doing all this work for you to play within certain classes, so you have the opportunity to win. Yet you're sitting here asking for more, even though we've already put in all of this work.
They've created a monster, bro. I mean, is it a league or not? Is this a competition or not? And it seems like no, it is not a competition anymore. Because if it was, you guys have open. You guys don't even have open in TCL. Like, isn't that what? Don't we want to see the best people battle it out and see who the best is? We can't do that at TCL, except for, I guess you could say, open elite singles. But in doubles, there's no open doubles teams. There's none of this stuff. It's all just becoming a participation trophy event. Like, okay, well, you guys aren't that good, so we're going to make you pair up with somebody who is, right?
That essentially is what kind of happened. It was almost like an anti-super team movement. We wanted to see, or I say we, but TCL wanted to see more winners or different people win, or like just give people an opportunity, because there was so much belly aching of like, hey, I'm coming to all these regional events, I'm coming to all these signature series events, and these other guys aren't coming to everything, and they're just coming for the big money.
Right, and that's why we just went to a big ACO event. And we're having one here at AJ's, April 19th and 20th. And people just don't want to sign up because they're not protected.
Right.
They're not going to get their participation cash reward. It's not a participation trophy. I'm all about the participation trophy. We're talking about participation cash rewards. You're going to get paid for throwing a 7.2 PPR.
Right.
You're getting cash money.
And all I can really think is like, what, do you just let them have the opportunity to buy a Rising Stars jersey? Or do you think that's just going to get thrown back at TCL? Oh, y'all are greedy, this, and that? Because that's what's ultimately going to happen. And, I think there's a lot of there's a lot of really, really dumb people that think that they are smart. And they don't realize that this is a business that gets a lot of time put into that no one else is going to do, but they don't want anyone to make money off of it or anyone to even get what they're worth out of it. They want all that money to go back to the players that are being you have been given a format that gives you an opportunity to win in a lot of these tournaments that you wouldn't have if it wasn't for what TCL was doing.
Win cash money, by the way. The amount of money that's handed out in social and competitive, I'm like, why are you doing this? Why are you? I've been saying to get cash out of social for a long time, but seriously, like you're paying the people that are either A, sandbaggers, or B, got good pretty fast. That shouldn't even be in social. That's who always gets paid out in social. Sorry, by the way, for all the people that got paid out in social. I myself played social and competitive, so I'm kind of insulting myself at this point. But when you start in a league, you kind of think, well, I'm going to start at the bottom, right? I'm going to play in social and competitive. So yeah, the ranking system is very profitable though, because it does give people a reason to show up and pay an entry fee because they have a hope of winning. They know that the people that are actually good at this game aren't going to be competing against.
They're not in that tournament.
Yeah, they get to play in a different tournament. And I think that's what you're going to see more of, right? Like I think ACO is probably going to go in that direction too, where they can have, your social type events where you're not going to have to play against the people that are actually good at the game. You can compete. But I think people need to sit down and think to themselves and wonder, why am I doing this? Right? Am I enjoying this competition? Do I like going to tournaments and hanging out with my friends and drinking beers and throwing bags? Do I like that? Because you're paying for entertainment. Like when I look at, you go to the movie, take your family to the movies. How much does it cost you? Right? Or take your family to the movies and dinner. Right? Compare that to an entry fee to a cornhole tournament, and especially here at AJ's, BYOB, right? Like,
and I guess you got those people that want to, can I get a membership card? And as I come up, I build up my points so I can get whatever.
It's actually a great idea. Like that casinos?
Yeah, essentially that's what people are asking for.
Well, ACO does something called a Road Dog Award. Like the person who goes to the most tournaments gets an award at the end of the season. But something like that maybe makes sense.
TCL used to have some things like that they did, but like the Iron Man Award is what they called it.
You ever go to Top Golf?
Yeah.
That's pretty expensive.
It's pretty expensive.
Right? And you don't get any cash. You don't get paid when you leave. Or, dude, I used to play, well, actually, the golf tournaments I used to play in, you did win money.
Bowling, another good example.
Yeah, you pay money, you bowl, you enjoy it, and then you go home. You don't get a trophy for rolling like a 98.
No. They have the bowling leagues where you're going to go to your bowling league. At the end of it, they're going to do their payouts for their top performing teams. But no, if you bowled a 90 for the league, your odds are you had a good time that weekend or that league, and that's about it.
Right.
You don't get something for being the top 90 bowler.
And then you got to think to yourself, if you're not happy with that, you got to think to yourself, well, did I not enjoy my time on this planet? Did I waste my time because I didn't get paid?
Right.
Like I've been so annoyed with people's attitudes with cornhole and payouts. Like when people start complaining about payouts and things, and of course I have to look these people up on Scoreholio and I see their stats, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing with your time? If you need to get paid for something, you need to find something that you're good at, right? Like you're wasting your time if you think you're gonna get paid out playing in a social or competitive cornhole tournament. But again, let's bring this back full circle. It's all TCL's fault. Y'all have created a monster because you've been paying out social and competitive for so long. Everybody thinks they need to get paid. Everybody thinks they need to be protected and coddled. They need their mommies to protect them and make them feel good about themselves. Pat them on the back. You've done a good job. When you're not any good at cornhole. And look, it's fun. I'm not good, but I'm not complaining about like not making money or not getting a reward. Like maybe we need to break it down to the basics, everybody. You get rewards when you're good at something. Am I too Gen X No. Wait, we're different generations, actually.
We're different generations.
You are the quote-unquote participation award trophy generation.
No, I'm a victim of that. It's actually the generation before me that all their parents are pushing for their kids to get participation trophies. It wasn't me. I was just playing. I was a 5-year-old. I wasn't complaining.
Okay.
But I've been winning forever, just so you know. So I'm not really worried about it. I wasn't worried about it.
Surely you've done something in your life you weren't a winner at.
No.
Nothing.
Give me a
break.
Stacks, fucking great.
There's
Black
belt
karate, won all my tournaments.
Come on, not everybody's good at everything.
No, I have not been bad at anything I put my mind to.
Okay. There's a qualifier, so there was something.
No.
All A's, honor roll.
When I was doing it, yeah.
Something like there's got to be something that I can find. That high jump, triple jump.
I mean,
did you do hurdles?
What's your bar for bad at these things?
My point is,
because if I'm competing against Cedar Hill and DeSoto and Duncanville, dog, yeah, I sucked. I sucked.
Yeah, okay. And then, should you get paid for it? That's my point.
No.
Are they going to make the hurdles lower for you?
I got a ribbon.
TCL would make the hurdles low for you.
No.
Yeah, they would.
No.
And they'd be like, "Oh, you're good. Here's a pack,
here's
money.
X amount of inches. You get to play on the lower hurdles."
Yeah. Wait, my buddy was telling me they actually had basketball leagues where it was just for people under 6 feet. Like that's a real thing.
Oh man,
that's a real thing.
They've actually made some new basketball leagues where the goal's 8 foot.
That's where I would want to.
These guys are yamming, dude.
I don't know. Have we gone off enough on all this?
Yeah, I mean,
like, why are you playing cornhole? Is it fun? That's the question.
Right. And what are you really expecting? Because, if TCL rolls out a deal where you get to play in a fun tournament and there's an award at the end, but there's no payout, are you going to complain about that? Because then at that point, why is TCL going through the effort? Or is this something that the duty should be on your regional director to find ways to recognize their lower level players that are participating a bunch? Is that a regional problem or is that the entire league's problem? It's just, again, I don't think anybody that's even complained about this or even not even complained about has thought about this. No one has came up with a perfect solution at all.
Oh, no. I mean, again, for ACO, the thing I've been focused on recently, nobody wants to play because they have to play against the best players.
Right.
And nobody wants that. They need to be protected. No.
It's if I go to an ACO major, then, and I'm just we'll say B player for this, but I throw an 8. Okay,
you're getting destroyed.
I'm going to make tier 2, and then I'm playing for only a plaque. And then what? It's not very long tournaments either. That's not like an experience I'm going to miss out on.
Well, I mean, you get to play. What is that? You went 0-2, and then you could potentially only play like 3 or 4 games.
Right.
Right. But then you have doubles or singles, and you have all the other events, so you can get plenty of cornhole in. And you can always play cash games. There's plenty of open boards. And the question I keep coming back to is, do you enjoy throwing backs?
Right.
If so, go to tournaments and play. Right. And
it's just cornhole.
The constant griping and complaining. Oh, I don't get paid enough, and I got bumped. Anyway,
it's even the complaining when something good does get posted. Because TCL posts the tier ranking update, or that takes a lot of work. That's a lot of effort. TCL posts the top 100 that comes out, and people are still complaining about where they fall in this ranking, or hey, it should be a top 1,000, or it should be like something other than what y'all are doing because it doesn't fit what I need it to be.
Right.
Ultimately, I guess that's what it boils down to.
But I mean, if you're looking for great experiences, TCL puts on the best shows. They're always fantastic experiences. You get to throw a lot of cornhole. I think ACO does a good job too. We've gone to 2 now, and it's been fun.
Yeah, I've had a good time.
So, if you like playing cornhole, support the leagues. Play cornhole. It's fun, right? And we'll just have to see.
And even with the ACL, you go to ACL, you're going to spend a lot of money. You're not going to get that money back, but you get to say, man, I got to see Jeremiah Ellis and Matt Guy play the best game I've ever seen of cornhole in my life. You could walk away and say that.
Yeah.
But that's what you're going for. You're going to hopefully potentially see a level of cornhole you haven't seen in person before.
Right. And another thing I want to talk about, and we're running really low on time, and we did put this in the agenda. One of the things I keep seeing on social media constantly is that ACO doesn't have the talent level that ACL has, right? And I would agree to one thing I've seen is that the depth, right? ACL has more depth. They've got more players that play in their opens, and the more players are throwing higher. But it's generally a bigger league, right? But if you look at the talent level at ACO, it is just as high. Like at the top, right? It's just as high as ACL.
I don't think you can say the top. The top 5% of ACL, I still think is just a different animal.
Okay, I have a direct argument and proof of why you're wrong. This year, Jeremiah Ellis is the king of cornhole. He won ACO's singles tournaments. He was an ACO guy until this year, and he's beating everybody in ACL. He's dominating ACL.
And I hear you.
Trey Ryder himself said the best player in ACL is Jeremiah Ellis.
And I hear you, but what league is Jeremiah playing in right now?
Right now, ACL, but he's from ACL.
That's good. It doesn't matter where you're from. Right now, I think Jeremiah is probably playing the best cornhole he's ever played. It's probably because he's playing against monsters he's never played. It's taken him to another level. And ACO has talent, but that talent is just it's a smaller field. Ultimately, what it is, and I don't. Field. And again, I think if you do take that top 5-10% of the ACL guys, they probably mop the floor with the ACO guys. And I don't know how big of a. I think when you look at the TCL guys, or just Texas, the Southwest Conference of ACL, ACL or TCL. It's that would be a problem if all those people showed up to an ACO tournament because it's deep. And I think the depth is what the ACO problem is.
But your experience with ACO has only been in the outskirts.
Oh no, I mean as
we haven't been in the
as we go on, I'm definitely going to be exposed to more players and more talent for sure.
And my position is that cornhole is not that hard, right? It's always the same: 30 feet, throw it in the hole.
Yeah,
right. And you have these pockets of people that are really talented. And they're beating up against each other constantly. And there's a lot of these pockets in the ACO heartland, right? The center of ACO. And we're going to see them more and more and more. We're just seeing the guys that are traveling to the outskirts. And they're really good. Like that Tyler Goodwin guy, he's going to be an ACL pro. I'm almost certain of it.
And again, you got your like Gary Bearpaw. I know he went to the qualifier this last year, but I mean, he's ACO's version of Matt Guy.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, these guys can fill up the hole.
Yeah,
they can definitely do it, and they got that talent. But again, I think it's just a depth problem. But we won't really ACO Worlds will really be able to.
We'll really see how good these people are, right? Front row, because you also learn a lot more when you sit there and watch people play, which is something I've just started doing over the last several months. I used to always be doing something else or playing or whatever. Now I'm paying close attention to how people play and what they do and different circumstances, scenarios, and things like that. And these guys I'm watching in ACO are super good. All right. I'm over budget. I don't even know if we're going to, I always say this, we're probably not even going to publish this show.
Why wouldn't we publish this?
I don't know. That's just what I say.
We have no reason not to publish it.
You said that you had no good options when I'm supplying you with all these bags. You're like, when I was saying, why are we throwing the Pegasus? You're like, well, all these, there's no other bag.
There was on the table, there was no other bag that was worn out. That would be like, I want to throw that bag.
Yeah. Well, what is it going to take to get some bags like that for you?
We're going to have to create a break-in table of ACO bags here at AJ's.
And have everybody throw them?
And just have these guys throw them for me.
It's actually a really good idea.
They just need to throw them for me. I mean, we do this on Tuesdays anyway, so you might as well just have them throw those bags.
All right, everybody, we need you to come to AJ Sports so you can break in Grant's bags for him. So
there's a difference. There's a difference between broken in and like loose, and broken in as in worn out. I need worn out because that's when the bag does what the bag does.
Right. And they need to be thrown to do that. There's really you can't fake that.
You can't fake.
The massage gun, I think, is as close as it gets.
But I still think there's like a dirt and sweat and there's that factor of things.
Yeah. All right. So maybe we will publish it.
Why?
Maybe we will publish this episode. Well, that's all I got. I got to get out of here. I'm running late. I got to pick up my baby.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, no bad words. And remember, it's just a game.